show. Yeah, this is something else, man. Thank you guys for coming out. Give it up for yourselves. Yeah, I thought for sure there was going to be nobody. I was like, oh, the rain, no one's going to show up. And you guys are like, oh, look at the rain and the lightning. What do you want to do? Let's go walk around Savannah and look for comedy and drink beer. Let's get drunk in the rain and lightning. That sounds smart. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm a Midwestern transplant. I lived in, Midwest. What? Yeah. All right. Okay. Before we get started, first I want to let you know your headliners here tonight. Let them feel your love in the back. Brandon Vestal's here with me. Come on. Let them feel your love in the back. I've known her for years. And okay, so Midwesterners, where? Missouri. That's the middle. That's not the Midwest. You guys just don't know what to call it. Well, it's in the middle. What do we call it? If they're Southern, call it Southern.
It's the Midwest.
Nebraska?
Nebraska.
That's also kind of middle. That's a little more Midwest. What? Ohio? OH! See, these are the people. It's like a mating call. They can't stop. Even if they don't want you to know they're from Ohio, they're like, oh, OH, Ohio! Ah, shit, everybody knows Mildred. That's the only state that does that. Watch this. AL.
PA.
Alba? Nobody from Alabama knows how to spell Alabama, so that was a trick question. No, you're high on corn, sister. That's not Midwest. Where else? What is it, Midwest? Where?
California.
California. Good. That's Midwest. The middle western part of California. California's big enough to have its own Midwest, isn't it? Yeah, man. Well, anyway, we made it. We're looking at each other's faces dead on, like no masks. I love this.
Yeah.
Because for a while, did you get sent home? Did anybody get sent home to work from home during the pandemic? Did you? Some of you? Yeah, some people did. And so did I. I'm a comedian, right? So touring 25 years, and all of a sudden I can't tour, and I was like, I'm at home, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And then my wife was like, yeah, what are you going to do? Because I didn't marry you because you're going to be here. That's not the plan. You were supposed to be gone 3 weeks a month. You're here 4. That's all of them. This sucks. So then your bosses, here's what happened. Your bosses, the CEOs that sent you home, started calling, because you're doing Zoom shows, right? You had to work from Zoom, right? Zoom. You had to work from Zoom. Yeah, it's Zoom meetings. And so these CEOs and bosses started calling comedy agents. And so my agent was like, we got these Zoom shows. They need comedians. Apparently they're calling, they're like, we need a comedian to raise morale. Because our employees are sad. They're at home with their dogs and their alcohol, so they're sad. They don't get to hang out with their douchebag boss at all. They're so sad. I got 2 meetings in, I'm like, these people have never been happier in their damn life. They're drunk at 10 a.m. It was like a revolution. It was amazing. My mother, after 65 years of hard drinking, has been sober for 3 years. And this thing. She's been dead for 4, but that's a win. It's too soon, that's my mom. Back off. Yeah, I come from a long line of alcoholics. My mother and father were severe alcoholics. They could not moderate drinking. And they could moderate, they just couldn't moderate drinking. Like, they didn't always parent. So they knew how to moderate. They moderated that quite well. Yeah, my mother and father were divorced when I was growing up, which was common when and it's still common, I guess, but yeah, in my generation, it was everybody's 70s parents were just divorcing and doing their own thing, and that's what happened. They were always in and out of court claiming the other one was a bad parent, and we were so torn as kids because we knew they were both right. They were horrible parents. That's why we're in court. I was like, who do you want me to testify against first? I got dirt on both you assholes. So yeah, so then both of them went into assisted living at the same time, and I was trying to help them. Not intentionally. They needed to go. It was time. We all are going to end up in diapers at some point. All of us. Yeah, people get nervous. People always get nervous when you talk about it. But look at how pretty the people in their 20s, how shiny and smooth everybody is. Right? Look at how good they look. Look at them. Yeah, see, you're my age-ish. Yeah, so look at how smooth they are. They're perfect, right? 50 years from now, diapers. Every damn one of them. That's if it works out. That's best case scenario. Diapers. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyway, so they both my parents go into assisted living at the same time in 2 different parts of the country. They haven't spoken to each other in 30 years, and I had to help them both. And so have you ever done assisted living with an elder family member? It's time-consuming and heart-wrenching and expensive ×2 for me because they didn't talk to each other. So I was holding out, hoping the dementia would kick in and they'd lose their memory and I could put them in a 2-bedroom apartment together and film that shit as a reality show. You binge watch the crazy old bastards that don't know why they hate each other show.
I don't know how you know my middle name, asshole, but I'm gonna find out!
The technology that got us through, do you agree with that? Was this thing. And it's not intuitively made for me or for even us. It's for the kids, the little kids. Those guys, they pick these things up. My son, when he was 5, picked up my phone, started shutting off my apps. I didn't even know you could do that shit. These apps had been on the whole time I owned the phone. He was like, Dad, you gotta shut off your apps, Dad! Your battery's gonna die! I was like, I got a job, I'm gonna buy another battery, but you gotta shut off your apps for sure. He was better than me, but I was better than my mom. My mom thought she had to call me first to text me. Yeah, she would call me and I would answer, hello, oh, there he is. And she'd start texting at me while I'm on the phone with her. And I'm in the background, Mom, I gotta shut up, you're ruining my text. You guys are so sensitive. Would you chill out? She can't hear you. She didn't have any problem with it. She thought, I sent her a video of kittens playing, and she called me 2 weeks later. She goes, thank you for the recommendation for the diabetes medication. I bought it and it's working. And I was like, Mom, I sent you a video of cats playing. She goes, no, you didn't. You sent me an ad for diabetes medication. I was like, Mom, you're supposed to skip ad. It says skip ad. Yes, is that what you do when I say you things you skip them? I'm like, Mom, what are we talking? You're not even diabetic. What are we doing? It's not even worse. My father's 84 years old. He thinks computers aren't even going to work out. That's what he told me. Don't waste your money, son. They're bullshit. The whole thing's a scam. He printed up an email and sent it to me in the mail. Refuses to get his own email address. He goes, that's how they get your information, and then they know exactly where you are all the time. I was like, you haven't left the house in 7 months. Everybody knows exactly where you are all the time. But sending me letters with human handwriting on them, it's creepy, honestly. It's where everything's automated now. It's the echoes of our technology living in today's world. I mean, we're gonna have to, in 40 years, we're gonna have to explain to our grandkids about how we simultaneously had email and the post office. That's gonna blow their minds. They'd be like, Grandpa, what was paper? It was made from trees. What were trees, Grandpa? It's not important, son. We got oxygen tanks now. Screw them. I don't need them anymore. Why, you write your little letter on a piece of paper, and then you'd fold it up and put it inside of another piece of paper that had a little door on it. That was called an envelope. Some people call it an envelope. Those people were freaking lunatics. That's how you knew it was from Missouri. Those sent-up bitches. Then you'd take your letter to a dangerous, uncomfortable place called a post office. And you'd wait around for hours in the body odor and the lack of eye contact. Then you finally got to talk to an angry, misshapen man who lived with his mother and had an inexpensive haircut. Now, that man would sell you a little sticker you could put on your envelope, and you'd lick it and get cancer and give it right back to him. That's when they would deliver my letter. No, son, a bunch of shit happened after that. Why, they'd shove it in a slot in the back wall. There were more angry people from bad families. Those trolls had put it on an airplane and traveled hither and yon across the country, sometimes for weeks. Until someone finally discovered it was on the wrong damn aircraft. That's when they would deliver, not yet, son, not yet. That's when they would accidentally deliver it to the neighbor of the person you sent it to. And that man, based on his relationship with his neighbor, would decide whether or not that scumbag was gonna get his fucking mail. Tell us again about the payphones, Grandpa. We love your stories of a better time. It's echoes, and it doesn't make any sense, and so our kids see it, and they're like, I don't know what that is, but they don't usually say anything. That's what happens. I'm 50, so then my kids are like, whatever, man. Your shit's weird. But the other day, my son, we were driving by Walgreens, and he's like, 1 hour photo? That's way too long. I was like, what does he even think that means? He goes, could you imagine just sitting there like... So he thought what was going on inside the Walgreens for money. You guys are so damn cool. I just love this room. I just love these people. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, not just individually. Yeah, each person, but not only one. Are you a married couple? You have children?
We do.
Yeah? How many you got?
2.
2! My wife and I have 3, and we're thinking about having less. Not allowed to. I'm not even going to tell you what age they are, because people always go, that's a great age. For what? Not landscaping. Never landscaping. There's parents here, some older folks, some younger folks. I love it. When was your first memory? Do you remember your first memory? How old were you? Your first memory growing up. You remember? Were you 5? 4? Potty training? You remember potty training? It sticks out.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're like, it's pretty traumatic for me. I didn't get M&M's. I got beat. Was it traumatic? What was it?
I remember the little city potty and my mom being like, you can do it.
The city potty?
Yeah, little plastic.
What was the city potty?
It's a little fake plastic toilet.
A fake plastic. Oh, no, city potty. I think it's city potty. Like we go out in the street, and she pointed the dogs that were crapping on the sidewalk, and she goes, "See, city potty. That's what we do. City potty. You city potty like a puppy."
That's just the sidewalk.
Yeah. So it wasn't traumatic. No, you just remember the fact that it was pressure. Pressure.
Lots of
Yeah. Oh my God, what's happening? Let's have the hottest dressed woman just walk right in front of the stage. All right, welcome. Did you just get here?
Huh?
Did you just show up? You just got here? Oh, okay, cool. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming in. He already said you're welcome. He's got you covered, that one dude. It's like, you're welcome. Yeah, we're all very welcoming. So, yeah, the reason I asked the first memory is because this deluge made me think of I had night terrors about tornadoes. Growing up, that was one of my first memories, was tornadoes. Yeah, and they're scary. And but I had like nightmares, really bad ones. And I asked my mom. I was like, I go, did I get in a tornado? And she goes, no, we just told you about them a lot. Like, you horrified me with stories of tornadoes? Were you just trying to keep me in the basement? Is that what you did, like to keep me in the basement? And I was like, how long does it take for them to pass? I've been down here for 2 weeks. Is the tornado gone yet? And why do I need this chain on my leg? Is it for safety? It's like when you ask kids if their parents are good kids. I do cruise ships sometimes, and they'll be like, kids in the audience, and I'm like, is your mom a good mom? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't have a frame of reference. She just walks me under the stairs like the other moms, so she's good. None of us do. That's why I think the memory thing, you should have, because parents, we're just all experimenting. We don't know what we're doing. We make all these mistakes. And there should be a little light that comes on when you start to have memories as a kid, so that your parents, have an out. So like, you little son, oh, you better be good, because Daddy loves you. Being a parent's hard if you care. That's the issue. And I was raised by parents in the 70s, and honestly, my parents, they didn't care. They didn't care the whole time. We were friends in the end. But there was a whole period of time where they were just kind of in their own world, they didn't really care. And like I said, we settled our business, we're buddies, but there was a period where they just didn't care. And then when I was having kids, my mom was like, thanks Freud for that, by the way. Hear that? So yeah, I told my, Mom, Danny's pregnant, we're having a kid, and she goes, oh, you're gonna love parenting, it's easy. I was like, I don't think you get to say that. I think time was moving slower in the 70s too, because every story where I got hurt really bad starts with my mom turning around for a second. Just turned around for a second, then fell out of a tree, broke his arm, was whisked off by caring neighbors, surgery, rehab, then I fixed my drink, and I was like, oh, what happened? So the pandemic was a trip, but we got through it. Here we are. And I wasn't going to get vaccinated. I was like, forget it. I'm not doing that. I'm not letting the government poke me full of mysterious liquids that may or may not kill me. Something that may or may not kill me. And my wife was like, we need to get vaccinated. I'm like, I agree, 100%. So everybody was just wishy-washy. So we got we went to the mass vaccination site. That was comforting, wasn't it? The mass vaccination site in Gulfstream. We're just driving in there. There's like a big arrow, and the military is there. And I was like, Matt, that's cool. I've seen this movie. I don't want to be in it. It was just weird. Yeah. And it was run by the military. I was like, this is wild. And I learned that day that when you join the military to get an education, they don't give you the education first. Because our guy didn't know shit. He had a clipboard, he's like, oh, you're getting the balls of the vaccine? And I was like, okay, I don't care what it is. I'm just getting it, so she'll stop arguing with me. I'd rather have the government poke me full of mysterious liquids that may or may not cure me from something that may or may not kill me than deal with her uninformed arguments. So technically, I'm getting vaccinated against my wife's bullshit. So if you just put it in my eye, I don't care what it's called. Just give it to me however you want. And my wife says, wait a minute, Baza? I've never heard of Baza. And I go, see what I mean? Did you get vaccinated? Because you're going to need it. And he's like, it's called Baza, ma'am. And she goes, I've never heard of that. There's no Baza. Is it Moderna? And he goes, is it modern? Like, is it new? Like, is it polio? Is that what you're asking? She says, no, is it like Johnson & Johnson? Is that the name of it? And he's like, no, ma'am, that's a baby shampoo. This is a vaccine. She says, wait a minute. She starts to narrow it down. She goes, is it one shot or two? He goes, it's just one shot, ma'am. You get one shot. It's called Baza. She goes, only one shot? It's not Moderna or Johnson & Johnson? And he goes, no, it's just one shot. And then in 21 days, you come back and get another one shot. Swear to God. Yeah. She goes, that's two shots. He goes, no, ma'am, it's one shot. You just got to do it twice. So she figures it out. She goes, wait a minute, that means it's Pfizer. And he goes, oh man, I've been trying to get that right all day long, which means the other 100 people in line in front of us were just cool with the knockoff Walmart Baza. They're probably still bragging about it at Oyster Roast and shit. Like, I got me the Baza brand. You don't even know what I got. That shit's top secret fucking Gulfstream shit, man. I'm protected against the Omega Mega Mu variant and the Epsilon Pi Delta. All that shit, man. I ain't had a hangnail in 3 weeks. This shit's amazing, man. I can hold my breath for 13 minutes underwater. Balls. All right, that's my time. I thank you for letting me play with some ideas. This is how we build comedy. I've done a bunch of albums, and I haven't done an album in 3 years. I've been sitting on my ass in Wilmington Island. I'm telling you, man. When Don Lemon came on CNN during the election and was incensed that the nation was waiting on Chatham County to find out who was president. Waiting on Chatham County, Georgia to find out who's president. I was like, well, he's clearly never been to the Kroger on Wilmington Island. Waiting for a couple of well-meaning old ladies who need to catch up because they haven't seen each other in 2 hours. Crowbar. Crowbar. Oh, yeah, crowbar. Oh, the crowbar. Are you talking about the Kroger bar or crowbar? Crowbar. There's a crowbar and a Kroger bar.
The real bar.
Yeah, the Kroger bar is amazing. You go to Kroger and get hammered. And then you go to the crowbar, and you're like, was this where we were supposed to be? Because the other one was a grocery store. Yeah, the Kroger bar. Do you guys go there just to party? Are you serious? Oh my, that's amazing. That's where you came from. You were partying at the grocery store? You guys know what we're talking about? There's a bar at Kroger on Wilmington Island. You know this? Okay. It's a draw, apparently.
We all know about
People are flying from other states, from Missouri, to go to the bar at Kroger.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't make it in Tybee.
Could have what?
We couldn't make it in Tybee, so.
Couldn't make it to Tybee. Yeah, when you get too drunk to get all the way to Tybee. By the way, Tybee never had any COVID. Did you know that? Because all the surfaces are covered in alcohol, so it was completely antibacterial. All right, listen, I gotta start this thing. So we have two great special guest comics and a great headliner. This is a fantastic night. Thank you for sharing it with us. Give it up one more time. We love this. We love the front porch. It's a great marriage. Love you guys. Okay, here we go. Coming to the stage right now. I first saw him recently at it was my college, my 20-year college agents. This guy, he's amazing. East of Mississippi. This guy runs comedy. He's Roy Wood Jr.'s agent. He's been my agent for 10, 20 years, and he's just the coolest. And he had a neighborhood association golf club. He always brings like whoever he can. This is the best comics he knows from the town to for you to headline with. And this guy showed up, and he was phenomenal. And so I was like, man, he's really good. And he's currently doing a tour called Trailer Parks and Palm Trees. Please welcome, if you would, Jordan Sentry, everybody!
All right, what's up, mother? No, I'm just playing. I didn't get a chance to roll down my sleeves. I was getting the positive vaccine. I'm going to deal with it, man. Yo, what's going on, man? I'm happy. This is my, thank you for clapping. My second time doing comedy in Savannah. Yeah, a lot more enthusiasm than I was expecting saying that. Because usually people don't care when you do something for the second time. You know what I mean? Like, when your cousin comes home from jail for the first time, huge celebration, right? I'm talking about balloons, fireworks, ironically, everything that sent him to jail the first time. But when your cousin comes home from jail for the second time, you kind of just wait for him to go back to jail for the third time, you know? You know what happens when he comes home for the third time? He don't come home. Yeah, exactly. I expected you to know that because you laughed like you could relate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that laugh said grand larceny. That's what that. Yeah. But yeah, I have a cousin in jail. He prefers calling it a gated community. Yeah. Can't tell you what he did, but like just between us, signed a long-term lease. Right. Tax-paying dollars with his HOA fees. It's kind of. Yeah. So it's also nice to be somewhere safe. You know, as comedians, we've been in some sketchy places. You know, type bars where you have to get patted down before you come inside. If you don't have a weapon, they send you back home for being underdressed. I heard somebody say treehouse. Oh, okay. I am not familiar. What's that?
How do you know that?
Because somebody yelled treehouse. Like, what do you think I am? No, I'm a psychic, dude. Like, I read wrong. What's so bad about treehouse?
It's a tased.
Okay, I heard 5 different crimes right there. All right, so let me correct myself. This front porch is safe. Everything outside is dangerous. I guess. I'll just say that.
It's fine out there.
It's fun out there?
It's fine out there.
It's fine. I mean, I made it. I think that should say something. I'm not the toughest guy.
Yeah.
I thought that looked like Russell. That's how I'm getting heckled right now. Anyway. It's all, no, all right, hold on now. Let's not team up on Russell. All right.
Russell. I don't like Russell already.
All right, this is getting way out here. All right.
Bit too personal.
Now, like I was saying, this is my first time in Savannah. Told you about my cousin in jail. It was also my second time in Savannah. And I was actually almost late getting here to Savannah because I got stuck talking to my neighbor. My neighbor is one of those people that likes to talk so much. To keep the conversation going, he'll start asking himself questions. He called me in the parking lot. He's like, yeah, man, I just got done running 10 miles. Will I do it again? Probably not. I was like, what are you talking about? Gonna get you a fill off my Chevy Spark so I can. Yeah, I got a small car, man. We drove over here from Tybee Island and driving all through that rain. Like my car didn't hydroplane. It's Spirit Airlines. Like it was looking rough out there. I did not know if I was gonna make it, man. But tell y'all a little bit about me. I'm from a small town in North Carolina. It's called Stoneville. Hence why I said small town North Carolina. If I came to Savannah, Georgia, 5.5 hours away from my hometown, one person happened to know what Stoneville is, I would probably pass out on the stage right now. You're not supposed to know. But what I will say is, you know, growing up, I would usually be the only black kid in class. And it's hard being the only person of color in class during Black History Month. Because anything the teacher says during that month, everybody's going to look at you to confirm that they're right. Including the teacher. I remember one time I was in class, the teacher was like, all right, kids, we're going to talk about Martin Luther King, who was assassinated? I'm in the back of the class like, it got to the point, they started to believe me so much, I just started making things up. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever been on an airplane? You know who invented it? That's right, Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. And you may not have known that, but surely you heard of our first pilot, Denzel Washington. You know, a lot of people say that. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like I've been a lifelong student. You know, actually, I just graduated college last year, so go Dad. Right. I got it. You can clap for student loans, I guess. Sure. Yeah, I got my master's in business administration with a concentration in functional alcoholism. Drinking is a big part of business school culture. You know, most people call it bar hopping, we call it networking. It's just... Something I learned though, business students are some of the pettiest people on earth. Only a business student would block you on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't care about your work anniversary anyway, Meredith. Like, what were you doing? But, you know, going through business school, I had to go on a few job interviews. And they tell you in school that you're interviewing the company just as much as the company is interviewing you. And that's the biggest lie you will hear in school. Second biggest lie is that you can mix white and brown liquor. Neither one of them. Here's the thing, you're not interviewing the company. Name one time the company sent you a thank you email. The most I ever got for coming to an interview was a KFC gift card. Which in hindsight, I should have spoke to HR. True, man. But seriously, I hate job interviews because they ask some of these dumbest questions, right? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you? That's an appropriate answer. I'll take that.
I didn't hear that.
But here's the thing, it's a dumb question though, right? Because like, when have you ever been able to predict that? Do you know what has even happened over the last 5 years? 2 years ago, we had a global pandemic. 2 years before that, kids were swallowing Tide Pods. And now in 2022, you can make thousands selling these pictures called NFTs. Or as my generation called it, right-click save as. Where do I see myself in 5 years? The other question I hate is tell me about yourself. How about you tell me you didn't read my resume? Because you've never been asked that question and answered honestly. Name one time you were asked that and you were like, well, I think of myself as somebody that will sleep with anybody in the office. I'm gonna be late some days, my sleep apnea is acting up. Oh, and I will steal. As soon as I figure out where these cameras are, y'all are fucked. Oh, where do I see myself in 5 years? Depends on if you catch me stealing. I hate that question, I really do, because here's the thing, it only takes 30 seconds to answer it. Anybody can sound good for 30 seconds. Jeffrey Dahmer can sound good. For 30 seconds, Jeffrey, tell me about yourself. Well, I'm a people person. I have a voracious appetite for my job. And I'm able to take large bodies of work and break them down to digestible chunks. Oh, Oh, by the way, is there a policy what we can keep in the lunch break room? Just so I know. That's like 27 seconds. Like you can knock that out, no problem. But yeah, I grew up in a small town. Like I said, I used to go to church with my nana all the time. My nana was a praying woman, but the thing about her is she would pray for you and talk about your worst trait. Yeah. She'd be like, all right, everybody bow your heads. Lord, please bless Sister Jessica and her new baby boy. Lord, if you could just bless her with a husband, Lord. You know, we just want a stable household is all we asking for. And Lord, if you could just please bless Brother David. You know, he just got fired from his job from Taco Bell, Lord. You know, I told him stop stealing cinnamon twists, Lord. He just will not. You know, I saw him at a yard sale trying to use a coupon, Lord. If you could just bless him in this difficult time. But, you know, something about Charlotte. Charlotte is unique because Charlotte's the only place that has chain restaurants and chain churches. We have this place in Charlotte called Elevation Church, but like it's not just one. There's like multiple all over the city. It's like the McDonald's of ministry. Like pretty soon you're gonna start having drive-through sermons. Like, welcome to Elevation Church. How can we serve you? Yeah. Can I get the 2 Corinthians and the? Let me get the John 3:16. That was pretty good. Would you like anything to drink with that? I'll take some holy water. Just give me the holy water to drink. Oh, 1 second. You want anything? Now, Baja Blast. Now, also get Baja Blast. Would you like to upgrade your water to wine? See, that's how I got my last DUI. All right. Well, your total is 10% of everything you earned. That's a risky joke to do in Georgia, I understand. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I remember going to church with my nana though, and my favorite part of church is when the pastor would lay hands on somebody. Now, I feel like this is a practice mainly in black churches, so let me walk y'all through this. When the pastor lays hands on somebody, he kind of like stiff arms them in the forehead, and that casts the demons out of them, and then they fall on the ground. Now, have you ever seen the pastor lay hands on somebody and you knew they didn't want to fall, but they knew they had to fall? Like, they don't even really fall, they like catch an attitude, lay themselves down, and the pastor come up in the name of the Lord. Can't believe I'm messing my Easter suit. And here's the thing about getting hands laid on you. You can't just get right back up. So you ever wonder what they're thinking about? See, we still got that crack in the ceiling. I know I should have went to Elevation Church. They would have never done this to me. Now, before I get out here, I just want to say, I appreciate diversity to an extent. But I feel like every time I turn on the TV, I see a commercial with an interracial couple, and like, you don't even know what the product is by the end of the commercial. I was watching the commercial, like, it's okay. I was watching this commercial the other day. You had this black guy from a low-income neighborhood, becomes a CEO, marries his Asian girlfriend, parents don't approve, but love conquers all. Tampax. I was like, what is this got to do with it? The plot doesn't match up with this. And I feel like that's a problem. That's what happens when you make equality profitable. That's how you end up getting Juneteenth ice cream. That is how we create these issues. And listen, when Juneteenth ice cream came out, obviously black people were not excited about this. We protested a lot, you know, in this day and age. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you've seen a black person hold up a sign with good news on it? I would love for a black person to be able to hold up a sign that said, I just saved $100 on car insurance by switching to black. These days, the only time black people get to hold up positive signs is during the NBA dunk contest. I give that one an 8. But you know, black people, we were upset about the Juneteenth ice cream because we haven't figured out how to celebrate Juneteenth yet. Like we just got this holiday. We gotta come to terms and like figure out what we want. We need to like be able to jaywalk or you know, get free Uber rides with an option to sit in the front. Or at least set all the clocks back 20 minutes. An hour? Alright, that's like extreme CP time. Wow. But something you should know about me when it comes to this ice cream, see, I'm a fat person in recovery. I'm not fat anymore because bullying works. But I still have fat tendencies, right? Like I still like pray over my food while it's in the microwave to save time. So when I saw the Juneteenth ice cream, I thought it looked offensive but delicious. You know what I mean? Because it could have been way worse. They could have called it, you know, plantation pistachio or, you know, antebellum butter pecan. Like we could have did a lot worse, but it was red velvet ice cream. And when you think about it, red velvet is the dessert of the disenfranchised. Like, it was time red velvet got a seat at the front of the freezer. We didn't land on Rocky Road. Rocky Road landed on us. So I had a decision to make, right? I could either buy this ice cream and turn my back on my people, or leave the ice cream and deny my happiness. So I compromised. I stole it. Hey, I'm Jordan Simpson. Thank y'all so much.
That's the guy! You guys are so nice. There's 0 Karens. 0 Karens in our audience. No Karens. What? Oh no, my drink. That's gonna stop the show.
Leave it.
Did you notice how it fell, but it didn't spill? I said there's no Karens, and then 4 Karens popped up. They're like, you're drunk! Is there anybody named Karen? What a terrible experience. To have your name like co-opted by the meanest people on the planet. Is there anybody named Karen? That you're like, dang it? Are you named? Which is your name Karen? Oh, yeah, there is. Yes, I know there's people named Karen. I meant here. Is there people named Karen? She's like, yes, there is.
Is that a Karen?
Is there a Karen? Your name is what? Megan? Megan's the next one. That's after Karen, like we wear it out, and then we'll be like, what's the next one? It might be Megan. Or like, what do you call when there's like 5 Karens in one place? Is like a range of Karens. It's a Megan of Karens. What do you call when you have more than one incel? Is it like a tube sock of incels? Or a mullet of rednecks? A guilt of Caucasians? They prefer a genocide of Caucasians. Certain things are like a third rail. You can't even talk about it. Like religion, you can't talk about religion, right? As a comedian. And I don't talk about it anyway because I come from a long line of priests. Correct me. I come in a long line of priests. My bad. It's called a train of priests. You just got a deadpan it.
All right, here we go. Are you guys ready for your next comedian? Come on! Hey, quit guessing! You don't know who's next. Ladies and gentlemen, Deshaun! Give it up for Deshaun! Come on!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. Good to see you. So my name is Deshaun. What you need to know about me is that I like 3 things. 1, money. 2, drugs. 3, question. That's right, I don't like money or drugs. I'm sorry, I feel like you guys really like money and drugs. I feel like you were especially excited about it. You were like, please go on. We can do this. Here's the thing though, I don't usually talk about drugs on stages, and it's because I listen to my mother. My mom always told me when it comes to drugs, weed, better not talk about drugs. There could be cops listening, who knows, am I right? Is it this guy? Maybe, perhaps. Excuse me, sir. Are you, just asking, are you a police officer? Maybe. I'm gonna need a yes or a no.
No.
No? All right, everybody, relax. Relax back half of the room. We can chill. That's good. What's your name, my friend?
Lee.
Lee. Everyone, let's hear for Lee. Lee, what you don't know is that right now we're chained together in this set. I'm just gonna be coming to you all the time. Anytime I need a little something, something, you're my guy, all right? Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I can really get this set started, I do want you to know that I love comedy. Of course, I'm a comedian, I'm on stage, like that's pretty obvious. But I love the process of like creating comedy. So I have been in comedy for about 10 years now. My 10th anniversary is in October. And I've been thinking a lot about the process that it takes to write jokes and like do different things. One of my first jokes that I came up with, I really love, was about an experience that I had. Now, this is the story of the only time that I've managed to talk my way out of a speeding ticket. Does that sound fun? Yes. Lee, is that all right if we talk about that? All right, everybody, thank Lee for that, all right? He said no, you were getting shit. Now, I fucking like it. Now we got a vibe going on. So what you need to know for this story is that I was in Florida, and I was at the most redneck wedding that I've ever been to. Now, you have to understand, while I was at this wedding, I met a man who was a volunteer firefighter in just the next town over. And the name of that town was Black Man, Florida. That is a real town that exists in Florida for some reason. I'm not a geologist. I don't know. It's not my problem. I was going to say geologist. That's the wrong thing. Somebody else commented on it. They were like, I'm not letting it go. Now, you have to understand how I got that information now. So imagine me looking around at this wedding, and I realize that I'm the only black person in sight. And that is when I see a man wearing a jacket, and the back of his jacket just reads, Black Man Rescue. And I was like... what is about to happen, and how often does this happen that you guys have a dedicated team to this one thing? So like any sane person, I immediately drove to Black Man. And let me tell you right now, it was exactly as I imagined it would be. It was just like the Black Man City Hall, the Black Man College. No, I'm just kidding. It was a super normal town. But here I am, driving through. And then all of a sudden I see these blue lights pop in my roof and I'm like, oh no. So I'm trying to think of something I could say or do to get me out of the speeding ticket, and that is when it hits me. The officer walks up to the car very calmly. He looks in the window and he says, son, do you know when I pulled you over? And I was like, yeah man, it was on the side of your car. Black Man Police. He laughed out loud. He laughed and he was like, you get out of here. It's the greatest day of my life, all downhill from there. Now, I love telling that story. I've told that story in a lot of different places. One time I told that story though, and I had somebody like come up to me after the show, and they said the craziest thing I've ever heard. Lee, are you ready for this? Yeah. All right. Now, when I came out after the show, this guy comes up to me. He's like white college age guy, and he goes, "Hey man, like good set or whatever." But I just feel like, you know, it's unfortunate when black comedians feel like they have to tell jokes about getting pulled over on stage, and I was like, hey man, you know, everybody gets pulled over, don't make it weird. And then he proceeds to make it super weird! So he said the craziest thing I've ever heard. He says, and I quote, he's like, well, you know, it's just not really fair to the police. because most people don't know this. I just also want to point out, as soon as I said not fair to the police, you literally put your hand in your hands. She was like, I don't know where this is going, but fuck. So he says, and I quote, it's not fair to the police because most people don't know this, but 85% of all the crime in America is caused by black people. Your response is correct, all right? You're right. Do you understand, how crazy that is to say to somebody? Do you know how much confidence you would have to say that to somebody? If I had half that amount of confidence, I could, I don't know, go to the supermarket by myself or something. But I feel like saying 85% of all the crime in America is caused by black people is such a crazy statistic, you probably didn't understand it when I said it. So allow me to explain it in a different way. Let's say that we live in a world where every time that you open a bag of Skittles, it could be all M&Ms. Right? You get the plan that you're going to go to the store over the course of 100 days. You're going to buy some Skittles, you're going to walk out of the store, get home, open the bag of Skittles, and you're going to see what happens. You're open them up. Now, the first 15 times that you do this, that means that you walk into the store, you buy your Skittles, you walk out, you get home, open the bag, Skittles like you were expecting. The other 85 times that you walk into the store, you walk out, you get robbed by a black person. That was the statistic! Honestly, I never thought I would hear somebody say they like their crime statistics the way they like their chocolate bars. 85% cacao, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when he said that to me, I didn't really know how to respond. Because I feel like that's a crazy thing. And I wanted to be nice to him. So I robbed that guy. I didn't want to change his outlook. That would be it was Southern hospitality. Now, of course, I have been doing stand-up for a while. And I think one of my favorite experiences in stand-up that I've had is actually at this theater right here. I am from Savannah now. This is one of my favorite places on earth, so this is a great time for me. But last summer, the theater did a summer camp for kids where they were teaching them how to do improv. And they asked me if I would be willing to come do a stand-up class for them, and I was like, that sounds cool. And when I came in, I didn't know how many kids, how long I was gonna have, and then I saw it had 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, 30 minutes to do a stand-up class. And then I found out there were 30 children. I was like, that's a lot of kids. And they were like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna break it up. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm coming back for a second day, so maybe it's gonna be half the group. So then we did 10-minute increments for 10 children at a time. So I had a minute a child to teach them how to do stand-up. And it was a great time. Kids make really fun jokes, but the one thing I really could not explain to them was the benefit of misdirection in your storytelling. I just couldn't do it. It was really tough. Another thing that's been happening since I moved here to Savannah is that I've been going to the beach a lot. I really enjoy the beach. The seagulls here are just really crazy. These are the most crazy seagulls I've ever seen. The first time that I was out on the beach, I remember I saw a dad pushing his baby in a stroller, and he just had this piece of pizza just held high. And you see the seagull kind of just looking at it. He's just tempting the seagull. And then all of a sudden you see that seagull just swoop down, take the man's baby. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Misdirection, y'all. We're still in the joke. So yeah, misdirection is a great way to write a joke. I think another favorite way of mine to write a joke is that you can just make up a fact. Making up a fact is great. Did you guys hear that Ariana Grande is actually going to be releasing an album sold exclusively at Starbucks? That's right. It's going to be a 3-part album. They're going to have 3 different performers on it. It's going to be Ariana Grande, Ariana Tall, and Ariana Fenty. Boom! Did you not think there were going to be puns in here? All right, look, I do want you guys to know that puns are my bread and butter. Without them, I'd be toast. You're welcome. You're welcome. I do really enjoy puns. Like, sometimes I'll just try to, like, make a pun up. Like, has anybody ever realized that the words dad bod and father figure are strikingly similar? So yeah, I'll spend like an afternoon be like, how do I combine these two things? And the best joke that I could come up with was that, you know, like I'm trying to get on the same exercise routine as my dad. You know, he's had like a dad bod for a long time, and I'm just trying to get closer to my father figure. That's it. Now, I think one of my, the next way that I really enjoy like writing a joke is by like doing an observation, like notice something that you think is odd. And I think like, I love horror movies, but I feel like people in horror movies do things that I would never do, right? Like, I feel like you'll watch like a horror movie and somebody will get dragged out of a room, and then you're like, huh, I wonder what just happened there. And then the person in the movie will be like, Bradley, where are you going, my guy? Like you would never do that, you know? Like I promise tonight that if I go home, like, and then any of my picture frames are turned upside down, there's like an 80, like let's say 60% chance I call the police, all right? 40% chance I don't because I'm black, let's just be honest, all right? Let's just be honest. But I feel like the greatest ghost movie of all time has let people react poorly in these situations. Like, let's just try a thing out real quick. Lee, you ready? Yeah. Okay. If there's something strange and it don't look good, who are you gonna call? The police, I just told you! Call the police! Unless, of course, you're black. All right, then you need to make a compromise. Just do it 3/5 of the time, everybody. 3/5 of the time. All right, don't you say, oh, the math was there before. 60-40 is 3/5, y'all. That's right. I laid a trap! No, I think like there is one thing about ghosts that I do think is really fun. Like, I feel like living in the South, like I used to live in Charleston before this, like, you know, these are two of the most haunted cities in the world. Like, I feel like if ghosts were real, then how come I have never heard about a black person complaining about a Ouija board spelling the N-word? Like, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. I also just like the image in my brain is like me sitting in front of a Ouija board. I'm like, how many letters would I wait for? You know, you're like holding the placard and you're like, N, that could be anything. That could be anything. I, all right, night, nice. G, okay, probably night. Second G, this is stupid. I'm done. I don't know what they're gonna say. But I think my favorite way to write a joke, my absolute favorite way to write a joke, is to start with a true story. To just tell a true story on stage, I think is like one of the best things you could do. So for me, the question is like, how do you know when a story is like good for stand-up? And for me, it just means that the story is like interesting, right? Like, and how you quantify interesting is like separate to every person. For me, it just means that the story is fun. Like, fun leads me to a lot of interesting places. I ask myself the question a lot, am I having fun right now? Fun has led me to perform improv. Fun has led me to perform stand-up. Fun led me onto this stage tonight. Fun led me to go to a wedding in Florida. There's lots of things that fun will bring you to. So this is my last story for the evening. Lee, are you ready? All right.
Yeah.
Now, this story takes place when I was in Charleston. And when I was in Charleston, I used to live on this cobblestone street, not bragging. It was nice though, it was nice though. Lee gets it. Now, one night I decided to come home from the bar, and it's like 2 a.m., and as I'm driving on my cobblestone street, I look to the side, and I see what appears to be a man laying on the sidewalk. And I'm like, that's not usually what you see around this part of town, so I'm just gonna let me just get out and check on him. So I get out of my car and I see this man is asleep, but I notice that he's not only asleep, he's also wearing a full tuxedo. And all of his belongings are splayed out around him like a chalk outline of a body. And I see, like, I gather his phone, his keys, his wallet, and I see his wallet, and his name is Lucas. So I tap him on the shoulder, I'm like, hey Lucas, buddy, what's going on? And he proceeds to wake up and go, hey man, just walking back to my Airbnb, and I was like, that's not what's happening. Unless you think it's happening, that's not what it is right now. That's not where we're at. So after that, I kind of sit him up, talk to him a little bit, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I need to call this guy an ambulance. And I'm like, you know what? I think he slept off whatever's going on. I'm just gonna bring him to where he's staying. So I get him in my car, and he tells me he's at this corner of this street, Queen and Legree. And so we drive down there, and then at this corner, there's like this giant 3-story building with like a fence around it, and then there's all these townhouses that are really like nice in different colors. And I'm like, hey man, which townhouse are you in? He's like, I'm in that one. I'm like, the mansion? He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that's it. Good luck, man. And then he opens the door, but before he gets out of the car, he kind of looks over at me and he goes, hey man, do you want to come for a beer? And I'm like, of course I want to come for a beer! In terms of when the story got fun, that was the moment. I was like, fun is about to happen. So we walk up to this gate, and there's a keypad, and I'm still on the fence by this point, and I watch him type in some keys, and then to my surprise, he starts to ring, and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get in here. And then somebody proceeds to answer who clearly just woke up, and they're like, hello? And he literally yells, trying to get in here! And I was like, we're fucking getting arrested. This is it. And he's like, no, this is the code, this is the code. So he tells it to me, and I type it in, and this gate raises into the air. I'm like, oh my God. So we proceed to go through 4 more locked keypads before we get on the elevator. And then we get on the elevator, we go up to the 3rd floor, we walk down the hallway, 1 more keypad, and then we are in this room. And the room is the living room is about the size of the room we're in right now, except for that room had marble columns. And I was like, what kind of fucking Bonneville apartment did I just wander into? But we end up going down a hallway, and he proceeds to start knocking on these doors in this one small room. And I watch him have the same conversation 3 times. He's like, hey man, it's Lucas, I got a friend. And they're like, hey buddy, sorry, I'm already with a friend. And he's like, oh, so you're not coming out? And they're like, no. And I'm just thinking to myself, Lucas has shitty friends. Man was asleep on the sidewalk, they're over here meeting people. So we go back out in this kitchen, and this is the best part of the story. He starts to tell me about this girl that he met at the wedding, and he's like, oh my God, she was so beautiful, so funny, so nice. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I was like, Lucas, no. And he goes, oh, that's right. You met us at the reception afterwards. And I was like, Lucas, no. And he was like, wait, did we meet at the bar? And I was like, did you forget that I found you on the street? And I watched him sober up for the first time in our encounter. And he was like, oh shit, that's right. Wait, were you an Uber driver? And I was like, no, you didn't have a plan, I saved you. So then, after that, he's like, do I pay you money? I was like, no, I just did it for the story. So then we're kind of chatting, trading information and stuff. We're like, let's be friends. And one of his friends comes out finally, and they're like, oh, hey, did you meet this guy at the bar? And I was like, no, I found your friend on the sidewalk. And he goes, were you an Uber driver? And I was like, why do you keep asking me that? So turns out that Lucas lived in Greenville, South Carolina. So he told me hey, if you're ever in Greenville, hit me up. Hey, Greenville. Lucas, is that you? Now, when I got in there, so I went to Greenville and I hit him up. I sent him a text and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. He called me immediately and he was like, hey man, are you in town? I was like, yes. So he took me out in the town. We went to bars, restaurants. We went back to his house. He threw a party. It was a great time. So this is my opportunity to tell you, hey, every once in a while, pick somebody off the street. Could make for a great story. Ladies and gentlemen, the last thing that I want to tell you is that I really just personally enjoy that this story started with Black Man Rescue and ended with White Man Rescue. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. My name is Sean Mason!
Come on, don't let the sinner go! Don't let the sinner go home! Good to see you guys. You ready? You ready? Hey, personal stories are the best. May I tell you one? Yeah. Do you remember your first kiss? Remember the first time a tongue touched another tongue? Remember how cool that was? It was like lip on teeth on. Remember that? Was it bad? Were you like, Uncle Jim, stop it? Or it wasn't bad? It was good, right? Was it good? I loved it. Okay, all I could think about. I remember thinking like, we could have been doing this the whole time. And yeah, and it was all I could think about. I would draw like lips on my notebooks, and then we'd be in school, and they were talking about like, whatever, Hitler or whatever. I'm like, I know Hitler, whatever. It was always on your mind. Like, just remember that? How like tongue kissing and open mouth kissing was always on your mind. Do you remember that? Yeah. And then my mom went to drop me off for school one day and went to kiss me goodbye. And it was. I didn't mean to do it. That's how she reacted too, by the way. She's like, we don't do that. Like I meant to. Like I woke up that morning going, can't wait to make out with mom in the front seat of the Buick in front of all my friends. Let that story get out in junior high. See how cool you are. So that was me, junior high. So that first day of high school, I'm like, I'm gonna turn over a new leaf. This is it. I'm gonna be cool. I got a skateboard. I'm gonna skateboard. I'm not gonna make out with my mom at all. I'm gonna be cool. First day of high school, I eat it on my skateboard and break my clavicle bone. Do you know what that is? The clavicle bone? This one? They can't set that bone. They have to give you a padded brace that pulls your shoulders back like this. But you only have to wear it for the first 8 weeks of high school. My mom was like, well, put a sweater on you and no one will know. So that was me in a Christmas sweater in August. People were like, what, is that our mascot? What are we, the Christmas trolls? What the fuck is that? No, that's the guy that makes out with his mom, remember? So experiment, be yourselves. If you want to tongue kiss your mom, do it. From Missouri, that's not even a rule there. All right, you guys ready for your headliner? Come on, let me hear ya! Keep doing. We got the people who needed to let their sinners go. All right, you guys are gonna love this guy. Please pay attention. This is stand-up comedy. This is actually not improv. This is stand-up. This is stand-up for the certain key people who want to be more interactive. This is stand-up comedy. Interactive is okay when called upon. Called upon to answer a question, that kind of thing. But otherwise, maybe shut up for just a second. And enjoy the stand-up comedy that's been fashioned for you by the intelligent man on stage who is about to take the stage, and he is one of my favorite guys. I'll tell you just for a second, I met him in Tampa, and when you meet somebody in Tampa, that means you're bonded for life, because you went through something. Because Tampa's not a normal place. And he's from Oklahoma. His dry bar comedy special is one of the best ones on the internet, or on dry bar comedy, whatever that is. I have a dry bar comedy special, and it is the only thing that's moved the needle. The guy's been on Laughs on Fox and everything else, and I've known him for 15 years. Please welcome, if you would, one of my best buddies. Give it up for Brandon Vestal, everybody! Come on!
Thank you for that short applause. I cherished every moment of it. Give it up for everybody you saw tonight, guys. It's a great show. Give it up for them that you saw. My first time in Savannah, Georgia. Very cool city. Very cool. I walked around all day, tripping on bricks. Spooky as shit at night. I see why it's so haunted. I'd come here too if I was a ghost. It's a good ghost work. I just got back from Laughlin, Nevada. I was doing a casino in Laughlin, Nevada. I've never been to Laughlin, Nevada before. I didn't know what to expect, but holy shit. I've never been the third best looking person. In an entire city before. That's an incredible feeling. I've never been treated like that. Never compliment my style. No one's ever said one word to me about style before. They just kept coming up to me like, yo man, what are those in your shirts, man? Those are cool. What are those? It's like, sleeves. Those are sleeves. I remember this guy talking to his friend in the casino there, and I swear this is what he says. Like, man, I've been feeling terrible. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's because I'm tired or it's from where I got shot.
Oh my God.
I butted right in. I was like, hey, you don't know me, but it's from where you got shot. I don't need to know anything else about your life. I know the pain is coming from the bullet. And when we're tired, we don't feel bad, per se. We feel we're tired. You had it the whole time. They're like, dude, hey, you're that good-looking dude with the sleeves. That's as far as I'm gonna go with the sleeves. Just checking in to come out here. You know how they make you check the bag? They weigh it. I put the thing on there. She goes, so your bag is over 50 pounds. And for safety reasons, we can't put bags in excess of 50 pounds onto the flight. She says, I grabbed the bag. She goes, but if you give me $100 more, we'll go ahead and throw it on the plane for you. That's great, but how's that fix the safety issue? So maybe just straight, if I give you $100 more, you're gonna turn on the extra safety features of the aeroplane. I didn't know that's how it worked. They shouldn't give that kind of information. We're about to take off. Like, so you put your seat up. We're about to. I just threw 100 at her. I was like, you do? Well, here's 5 more. Tray stays down. The whole time. And tray down kind of good. We started taxiing out. I still had my phone out. She got so pissed. She goes, so you put your phone away. They signal from your phone. I just threw my credit cards. Don't you talk to me. Everybody gets Wi-Fi. Don't worry about the signals, everyone. I've paid extra for the safety package. American Airlines is what I had the points thing there, so I'm stuck with them for life. They're the worst. They can't do it. They can't do it. If American Airlines was actually America, they've never been to America. Because we just showed up to all the battles like 8 hours late. My flight got canceled a few weeks ago. I lost a lot of money for this gig because the crew didn't show up. Nothing wrong with the plane. Crew just, they had a protest or something. It wasn't even, I was like, are the pilots up there? And the pilots, I was like, let's go. What do we do? I can hand out the water. I'll hand out the water to everybody. I'll be an annoying asshole too. I got that. I'll be like, I can give you water and do that every 15 minutes. I can do that. I went Karen on that lady, that poor lady from America. I don't like to admit it, but I went full, whatever the guy version of a Karen is. That's what I did. Oh, Kyle. Okay, I went Kyle. Definitely Chad. That makes more sense. Chad says better. I forgot what I was saying. We're just gonna move on. Went to a place the other night that you could throw axes. Yeah, see, no one gives a shit. Everyone's cool with that. That should not exist. Yeah, that's crazy. You've all lived a life. Have you not met the other people? And we're like, hey, we should just go throw axes. That's insane. They don't even train you. Not everyone can throw. You gotta be cornered. There should be a test before they just be like, hey, here's a tennis ball. I want you to throw it at the wall. Let's see how that goes before we hand you history's scariest murder weapon to throw around. It's ridiculous, and no one cares. Everyone just does. You can drink alcohol and do it too. Let it go on. I think that's probably why we had COVID. This shit like axe throwing places. I think that's why we had that. I don't know who's in charge of this. I don't know if it's God or aliens. I don't know. They probably hadn't checked in on us in a while. We're like a side project. Well, let me check on them and see what they're up to. Why are they just throwing axes around? Yeah, we didn't want to tell you. They started doing that like 2 years ago. We don't know what's going on. We don't know why they're doing it. They're also buying farts in jars off the internet. Shut it down. Shut the whole operation down. I don't care. Make them sick. I don't give a shit. Shut it down. And we're going to teach them a lesson. Shut it down and then hide all the toilet paper. See how much free time you have to throw axes when they're worried about their dirty butts. Yeah, I live in LA, California, so we, yeah. I don't know if that was the name, that might be your own thing going on, but I'll take it. We're still doing COVID shit. Just 2 weeks ago, they were going to start making us wear masks again. 2 weeks ago. And the CDC, they were saying, has their new plans for the next pandemic. I'm not doing that again. I'm going to be a problem next time. I don't care if monkeypox and polio are out having a barbecue in my front yard. I'm getting out in it. All I did in my house in California was walk around my block for 8 months in a row. That's all I did. I'm never doing that again. 8 months. I get up in the morning. I walk around the neighborhood. 10 minutes later, walk around the neighborhood again. Hey, there's Jeff. Must be 2:30. Dogs in my neighborhood were tired of walking. My dog gave me an ultimatum. Like, hey man, you take me outside one more time, I'll bite the first baby I see. I'm gonna keep biting babies till they put me to sleep. I'm exhausted right now. Why are we walking so damn much? We walk all day long. Is there something you're not telling me? I'm your best friend. And why aren't you home? I mean, why are you home all the time? What'd you do? You can go back to work. I'm trying to get on that couch. And all that started, that really messed my life up. I had a nice little life before everything. I just go town to town, tell my dick jokes, and move on with my life. I didn't pay attention to anything. And then you're forced to sit down and pay attention. And then I was like, oh, they got suits on. They talking. They know what they're doing. We're good. We got it. This is no problem. And then you pay attention for like 2 days, and you're like, oh, you can just get a suit. Like, I didn't know I knew so much about airborne virus. I didn't know I knew that. But they were doing stuff, I don't know if they do what you did here. I was in the Iron Curtain over there. I remember when everything started to come back, I was on my first flight, and I had a 1 hour layover in San Francisco. I get out, everything is shut down in the airport, except one place you could eat. That place was packed. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Why's everything shut down like this? And he talked to me like I was crazy. He was like, COVID! Can't have people walking around and eating together and waiting for food together and shopping during COVID. You might spread it. Like, so you have one place that literally people from different lands has to go to get something to eat before they go off to other lands? That's your big plan to stop the airborne virus? And the one place was Burger King. Burger King. Like, can I just eat COVID? Just spit it directly into my mouth right now and I'll take my chances. I didn't know how my body, I never got it. I don't know how my body would react to COVID. I know exactly how my body reacts to Burger King. The flight I was going to get on was a 4-hour flight. That was the most stressful 4 hours of my life. I've never been. You know how stressful a 4-hour flight is? And you know for a fact everyone else on board just ate Burger King? I was scared. I was like, one spark, we're done. 200 COVID deaths at 30,000 feet. Hey. Thanks, man. You're waiting for that? You're waiting for your spot? I'm gonna step in here in a minute. When I feel my time is right, I'm gonna help this guy out. God, I was just about to tell the best joke you ever heard in your life. You fucked it up. It sucks, man. What do I want to talk about now? I was on a flight the other day, and the turbulence was scaring the shit out of me. I didn't understand why we weren't crashing, so I was like, I gotta do something to distract myself from the cause of incident. So I just put my headphones on and I watched what the hell on TV, and there was this show, and they were talking about Biden and Trump were gonna run in it. That was the most likely. Like, what? And I watched that for like 30 minutes, and I gotta tell you, after that, I was totally cool with that plane crashing. To the side of a mountain. Just take it down. This is what we're gonna do. Just straight down. How fast can it go? We have millions of people to choose from, and we're going to do that again? We don't deserve to pick anymore, if that's the case. We don't deserve it. We'll just go to some lotto system or something like that. Or like jury duty, that'd be awesome. You just get the letter, like, oh shit. And what, Brandon? That's Mr. President. For the next 2 weeks, we're gonna get shit done. Uncle Jesse's pardoned. He's coming home. I don't know, man. Thank you. That was a very supportive time of the year last year. I really enjoyed that. I can really zone out in my own head. All these people really support me. My name's Brandon, if you didn't know. Like, who's that? What do you think? We don't know their name. We don't even know what's going on. Is this it, man?
I'm here for you.
Cool. My dad. I haven't seen him in years. He's like, you ever do Savannah? Be there for you, son. Finished Netflix. I watched the whole thing. So the whole thing. I try to watch it, and my wife made me watch shows with her. You try, you know, but every my wife will also have to have a fucking horse in it or something. She made me watch this one show. I watched half the first episode of it. It's Emily in Paris. She made me watch that show, and I'm not watching this. And then every time I'd come in and she was watching it, Emily was getting railed. I was like, this is a misnamed show. If they didn't name this Paris and Emily, I'd have watched every second of that show. You're teaching me. Let's get together to form one annoying ass person. I'm just kidding. You're fine. I didn't want to start the show. I'm this guy. I met a preacher once. Yeah. I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about. No, on Netflix, I watched the true crime documentaries. I love those. The serial killer ones. Yeah. That's my shit. I like watching those ones. I don't like what they did. I don't like root for them. Like, it's a killer. But the psychology, they always ask these guys, why did you do what you did? And they always say the same thing. They have a little voice in their head told them to do it. That's the most terrifying shit I've ever heard in my life. Because I thought we just knew as humans that you don't listen to the voice in your head. That's that thing. You don't have a voice like that. It shows up every time I'm in Target. Every time I'm in line in Target, that voice will show up. He's like, hey, take your pants off. Just take them off, man. What the hell? That sound weird to you guys? Pretty good? Did I break it? Did this hot fire break the microphone? She said, nope, I'm fucking leaving. I gave her one more chance. I'm going to play in the rain. This guy talking about my bricks. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Buddy of mine called me today. He's gonna post his girlfriend next weekend, so I gotta get back home and stop that shit. She sucks. She sucks. They started dating right before COVID, and this is how annoying she is. This is the kind of shit she does. First time I ever met her, he was at this bar. So my friend's new girlfriend, trying to make her feel welcome. We're talking, and she starts talking about Europe for some reason. I don't know why, and I told her I'd never been to Europe. And when I told her that, you would have thought that I got up, kicked her in the tit, and ran out of the bar. She was so pissed on it. She's like, you've never been to Europe? What do you mean you've never been to Europe? Are you kidding me, right? You've never been to Europe. Who's never been to Europe? How do you know? Look, did you know that Brandon has never been to Europe? How have you never been to Europe? How old are you? How have you made it this far in life? It's like, it's fucking easy. I just didn't go. I didn't even know I was doing it until we had this conversation. Watch this. Not going. Look how easy that is. Last year we were watching the NBA, the first weekend of the NBA playoffs at his place. She walked in, she goes, "Are you guys just gonna watch basketball all day?" I was like, "Yeah." This is what she did. She put her hand on her stomach like this. She goes, "Guys, that's disgusting. That is disgusting." That's the word she used to describe us watching basketball. This bitch doesn't know what words mean. There was nothing disgusting about us watching basketball. We weren't rubbing mayonnaise on each other's junk. It was like, "Get it, LeBron." Like, I'm like, it was terrible in there. No, but I'm glad you showed up. You're right, this is disgusting. Save me a lot of money on mayonnaise. Whoa. Well, a lot of games. There's some interesting laughs in Savannah. That might actually be a ghost. Yeah, everybody's mad about something right now, but I read something recently that's pretty ridiculous. This sounds made up. This is real. I read this Subway, the sandwich place, has been getting hate mail for years. And the reason is, it sounds so made up, but they keep getting this from all these parent groups because they keep extending Michael Phelps' endorsement deal, the swimmer guy. Every 2 years, they keep his parents are mad and say that he should have never got an endorsement deal in the first place because he got caught smoking pot at a college party after the 2008 Olympics. 2008, and they're still mad about that. I looked it up. Michael Phelps was 23 years old. He just won 8 Olympic gold medals, and he got $30 million in endorsements. And what he decided to do with his money, power, and fame? He smoked a little pot at a college party.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that makes Michael Phelps the poster child of the Subway Summertime Good Behavior Program. Let me tell you something about a 23-year-old brand investor. If he would have had 8 Olympic gold medals and $30 million in the bank, I give those parent groups something to be ashamed of. I mean, it would not be marijuana, I'll tell you that much. I don't mind the status, I'd step it up a notch. Like me personally, I've never had the urge to do cocaine in my life. I think I've only seen cocaine like 2 times. But if I was 23 years old, and already had 8 Olympic gold medals and $30 million in the bank, I would have a swimming pool filled with cocaine. To the top, and I'd invite my friends and say, "Hey guys, if you get bored, feel free to take off your shoes and socks and dip your feet into my cocaine." We play games, be like, "Marco! Cocaine!" My friend's like, "Man, Brad, you sure know how to party." I'm like, "Guys, aren't even close to done yet. I have a fistful of cocaine out of the pool and follow me downstairs in the basement. We're gonna pistol whip some endangered monkeys." If you hit with those pistols, throw that cocaine in there. You unathletic poor people don't know this, but wounded monkeys love cocaine. I do that joke all over, and I usually lose most of the audience when I get to that monkey part. People are very sensitive to monkey violence jokes. So if you were offended by that, relax. I am nowhere close to having $30 million. But if you ever see on the news or online, and a brand investor signed a contract for $30 million more, do you care about monkeys? I suggest you get online and start a Save the Monkeys Foundation. Because the brand investor fucks monkeys up tour begins as soon as I get a bus.
Let it roll.
So I know I have real money. This kind of stuff I'll do. You know what else I would do? I would buy TV time and do campaign-style attack ads against people that I just don't like personally. And I would fucking destroy them. I would kill tell me, like, it used to be Tuesday night watching your favorite show, and I'm gonna pop on the screen, like, you know this dickhead right here? He's real kid. I've known him my whole life. I'm pretty sure he used to finger my dog. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure he used to finger. I know he likes to touch little kids where they pee, but not little black kids, because John Little's a racist. Then he'll cut to me in my cocaine pool, like, Fran, let's recruit this message. I don't know if you noticed this, but tequila is trying to convince everybody that tequila is smooth now. Every commercial TV tells me how it goes down smooth. So smooth. Heard that enough, I was like, sweet. It must have fixed. So next time I thought I tried something, I haven't done anything. It's the same nasty shit, it's always been. You stop, I got this, you shut up. Goes down so, that's all they keep saying, so smooth. They all start to say they got a cool actor right at the beginning. Drinks, and smooth things happen to him throughout the rest of that commercial. They're implying there's a smooth things happen after you drink tequila. Nothing smooth has ever happened to anybody. You ever been out drinking tequila one night and wake up the next morning, you can't remember what happened? So you ask your friends what happened, and they describe your behavior from the night before as smooth. No one's ever like, hey, what happened after 10, man? I don't remember shit. Like, oh, dude. Never seen you like that before, man. I don't even, you were just so damn smooth. You were so articulate. You were very respectful to all the young ladies. Bro, you peed in all the legal places. I never seen you that sober. That was a hell of a night for you. They're earning $3,000 suits to drink tequila in those commercials. You don't wear a $3,000 suit if you know you're going to be drinking tequila. You should wear something more practical for the occasion. Plastic would probably be the best thing. I think all tequila should come with 99-cent gas station poncho. I think that's just a good idea. It's just a good business opportunity. A weed guy myself. It's like the one good thing about living in California that's left.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Do you have it here yet? Legal?
No.
Does that impress you a lot? No. I'm just kidding. You probably have. Who cares? What am I talking about? Remember it passed in California, my buddy stood up in the booth. He was like, this is it, bro. We're gonna smoke weed whenever and wherever we want. I was like, marijuana was illegal? Huh, you should have made a TV commercial got the word out, because I don't think anybody knew that. Everybody's high in California, all the time. Everybody's high. You're gonna think about that today's another life, but it's true. About 4 years ago, I got pulled over by a high cop. I'm not even lying, I'm not. He was high. There was no how he came to my door and said, excuse me, sir. You know I pulled you wrong. I'm like, no, officer, no. It's kind of running out myself. Not have you stop till you do look kind of suspicious. So I think I need to check your car for snacks. It's like I don't have any food in my car, so I got a power invested meat by the state of California. I demand you to take me to get some snacks. Will you take your car? He's like, yeah. It's like, can I drive it real fast with the siren on? And he's like, fuck yeah. And that's what we did. So it is my favorite LA day ever. I'll never forget it. There's the day I got my gun. They were just having conversations. What do you want to do after this? I don't know. Easy. What I want to talk about now? Oh yeah. So I watched this young lady be interviewed the other day. She's like 22 years old. She's a brilliant young woman. And they're interviewing her because she invented this thing. It looked like a little plastic box, but what it does apparently is filter dirty water into clean drinking water. And they mass produce and they send it off to all these poor countries. And they said this invention has probably saved hundreds of thousands of lives. And they asked her, they said, how'd you come up with this idea? This is brilliant. She's like, I was just on my couch. I was daydreaming one day and it came to me, so I did it. It's incredible. The other day I was on my couch. For 2 hours I thought to myself, how many people would have to die before I was the greatest basketball player? I gave that serious thought for like 2 hours. I really thought about it. And I concluded that it'd be a lot. Like, there'd be so many dead people at that point that I don't even think it'd be fun to be the best basketball player. I don't even care about basketball at that point. Like, hey, you guys want to get a game? I'm like, no, Brandon, we're trying to rebuild. What are you doing? Why don't you grab a wheelbarrow or something? Help us with the rebuild. Like, grab some shovels or something. I don't know anything about shovels. You let me know if you need help getting buckets. A lady friend bought a condo. We lived there for about 4 hours. This lady come and bang on the door. As soon as I opened the door, she started yelling at me. There's no introduction, no nothing. As soon as I opened the door, she's like, I live right below you and I can hear you guys walking around. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, that's the only way I know how to get. From one room to literally anywhere else I'm gonna go in my life. I mean, that's how I was taught. I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma, and in Oklahoma, we're like, hey, I'm gonna go kitchen get a snack. I'm just gonna use my legs again. Yeah, that's probably the best. A couple days later, she came up to the thing and she banged. As soon as I opened the door, she yelled at me, it's me from downstairs again, and I can hear your damn dog running around all day long, and I'm about to lose. I'm like, look, lady, I got bad news for you. You are gonna hate living here. You're gonna hate it because no one in this condo knows how to hover. None of us know how to do that. And if we did know how to hover, we wouldn't live in this terrible condo because me and my amazing family would be touring the country making millions of dollars right now. You would know how I was before I moved in because I'd be on the TV every time I was in here. So come see Brandon Buster and his amazing floating miniature picture and lady friend. But you did, but that's not real. So take your old ass back downstairs before I end up on the news again. Someone just get hurt. Right, the punch out. God damn. It's just like the brakes. That's what we call it. Have a child. Yeah, it's been done to death. Yeah, he's 7, that's why I'm here. I'm not even a comedian. Just like, what do you got? I'll do it. This kid's kicking my ass. I was an only child. And I just thought, he was about 7 months old. He yelled at me all the time for not knowing what to do or doing the wrong thing. He was 7 months old. I was seeing a ball on the couch. My wife walked in. She's flipped out on me. She's like, what are you doing? What the hell do you think you're doing? I was like, just keeping it alive. And this is what she was mad. She goes, I don't have too many baby bottles. He has to be baby bottles. He doesn't like that baby bottle anymore. And he likes the real nipple. And I want him to latch on to the real nipple because he don't want a plastic baby bottle nipple instead of the real nipple. I was like, I don't think we have anything more. No son of mine is gonna prefer a plastic baby bottle nipple to the real nipple. No son of anybody. I'm mad, fellas. As soon as she told me that, I grabbed a bottle and tried it. Not even close. And if it was close, you wouldn't be able to keep baby bottles on the shelves. Every lonely guy in the world be buying up every baby bottle that they can get their hands on. Baby bottles would cost like $8,000 a piece. And you ladies would be buying your own drinks. It'd be hard to compete with, ladies. We could put our drink of choice in a baby bottle. Have a little reward as we go. Last time I checked, you can't shoot Dr. Pepper out of your tits. But if you can, please beam me into the exit sign. My wife gave me a pass on that. She said, if you find that, you gust. She's a pretty cool lady. I feel like I'm just performing for this back corner over here now. Get out of here. Just had a birthday. I don't like those. Make you realize how useless you are. Try to fix things around the house. You know how to fix things? Blow on them. I do. I blow on them twice. I'm like, if that doesn't work, I smack it. If that doesn't work, this shit's broken. You gotta get another one of those. Worked on video games when I was a kid. There's a worker like me, so like a jackass. I was with this dude I just started hanging out with. I didn't know what I was doing. His car broke down. I had to pull over and just smoke. I don't know why I pretended to know. Cars zipping by me. I'm like, try it now. No, hold on. No? I don't know, officer. We're gonna have to get the snacks another way. You stay here with the car and give me your gun. I shall return. I get ripped off all the time. Get ripped off. I belong to a gym called 24 Hour Fitness. Close at 11. Wife got mad at me because my kid had to go to a preschool interview. I'm from Oklahoma. You just go to the one. You just walk until you get to school, and that's where you go. We had to interview them. My wife said, meet me there at 4 o'clock and be prepared. Well, for that. So I got there. She had like a notebook filled with questions. What did you say? Fire out. What does this happen? What if this happened? What are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with that? And you know, I start getting that look, fellas. You know what it looked like. Are you gonna do anything? Do you not care? So I had to ask a question. I didn't know. I was like, hey, yeah, I got a question. Hey, you're not gonna touch the dick, are you? I've seen the news. So what's going on? No? It's a good school. They don't touch the dicks here. And colors and letters and no dick touching. This is a good learning environment. It took me 2 years. It was 2 years to potty train this kid. For 2 years when he pooped like this. He was being such a dick at the time that I didn't want to teach him how to do it properly. Yeah, it's like, good luck. Making friends and getting a girlfriend when you shit like a fountain. No one embarrasses me in Target. So, with no pants. My wife lives with me. You're around. She's there all the time. She's been working from home for 3 years. Great. She keeps changing things, so she's home all the time now. So we'll keep redating her. We got pillowcases with zippers on them. That's our latest thing. That's pretty cool if you want to wake up with your face ripped open. An absolute nightmare situation. That's fine. She bought a weighted blanket. You know what that's? Weighted blanket. If you don't know, it's just what it sounds like. It's a very heavy blanket. I was asleep on the couch taking a nap, and she threw that thing on me. I woke up in the couch. I thought the ceiling caved in on me. I was like, what the f is this? She's like, it's for my anxiety. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel, it feels like a shed on top of you. I feel cozy under debris. She's ever in a building that caved in and they had to find her, and they found her, like, we're gonna get you out of here, man. Could you come back later? I haven't slept this good in a long time. She's actually here with me. She's back at the hotel. And earlier today she had an anxiety attack, but we didn't have the blanket, so I just flipped the desk over on top of her. Still on. Just doing my part. She's cool. I don't like everything about her. She's got short legs, I have long legs. So I've been able to walk at my normal speed the whole time we've been together. And if I do, she just vanishes into the night. The streets of Savannah have her now. She's gonna be here. See a little blonde walking around. That's her. Don't tell her where I went. No kidding. She's fantastic. We don't fight that much. That's a cool thing. But my wife's very sweet, very soft-spoken, very sweet person. But when people like that get mad, it's pretty intense. It's pretty scary. Yeah, and she does this thing, and this is only since I can tell you this. I think she starts fighting with me about 10 minutes before I get in the room. And I miss all the logical points she's trying to make. And I show up for batshit crazy time. I walked in the other day, I left at like 7 in the morning. I'm getting back at like 9:30 at night. I walk in, I can hear her yelling. Back in the house, I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I run back there. She's yelling at me. I've been there since 7 a.m. She's yelling at me. Then she sees me, and it just gets more and more intense. And I was mad. I had a long day. I was like, I don't know what you're mad about. I don't care. I'm not putting up with it right now. I'm leaving. I'm not in the mood. And when I said that, like demon level number 2. She started blocking the door and started pacing. I've never seen her do that before. She said, oh, you're just gonna leave? You're just gonna leave, Brandon? That's not working for me. So that's not working for you. So that's not working for us. You're the one that messed this up. So you need to fix it. We're not going anywhere until you fix this. I was like, I don't even know what you're mad about. So I just walked up to her and I was like, you good? So no, I flip another desk. No. Can't end on that. Okay. Maybe that, but we do. No, I like being married. I sucked at being single. Terrible at no game at all. Zero game. I always found myself, and when I started out on the road, I was lucky enough to hook up for the evening. I always found myself very uncomfortable situation. I'm a pretty shy guy, actually. And I always found myself in very uncomfortable situations. After shows, sometimes like dirty talk. That's not my thing. I can't do. Apparently I started laughing at the wrong times. A lot of the times I didn't know dirty talk was happening. Well, no, years ago, over in Atlanta, Georgia, I was hooking up this fine young Georgia peach after the show. Things were going pretty good in Atlanta. All of a sudden she stopped me, she looked at me, she goes, hey Brandon, is it gonna hurt? Is it gonna hurt? I didn't know it was dirty talk, so I was just honest. I was just like, no! No, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna walk right out of here. I'm quite a little disappointed, but you're gonna be fine. It's like, no, Brandon, I want it to hurt. Then I realized it's dirty talk. Like, oh, okay, and fellas, you don't want to kill the mood with awkward silence. You know, so you gotta say something quick. You gotta say whatever's in your head. So I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt real bad too. And I don't have any anesthesia. I don't have any anesthesia. You might want to take a shot of this whiskey. Find something to bite down on. That's what I said to that woman. I swear that's what I said to her. That's what was in my head. I've been watching Civil War documentaries. And she was like, oh, Brandon, Civil War history makes me hot. I was like, oh, shit. So once again, I had to say whatever, I had to keep it going. I was like, oh, you like that? You're going to love this. And I got on top of it. I'm like, 7 years ago, my father brought forth all this. She's like, yeah. I said, a new nation. She's like, tell me some more. I said, conceived in liberty. She's like, take it home. I think I know where you're going with this. And I was like, dedicated to the proposition that all men are Shit, I'm done. She goes, what do you mean you're done? No, I'm done. What the hell do you mean you're done? I just looked at her, I was like, sorry, looks like the South loses again. I gotta go. Thanks a lot, Savannah. Thanks a lot. I really
Brandon Gasparelli! Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out. We love you no matter where you're from, and we are probably going to do one more by the end of the year. We haven't scheduled yet, but we'll let you know. So go to barefootcomedy.com and find out who it's going to be. And also, you can go to Front Porch Improv. They'll have it up there too. And also, vote. Don't forget to vote. Don't drink and drive.
Yes.
Clean your genitalia. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming to Barefoot Comedy.